Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Skies here. I'm going to show off, or attempt to show off, a glitch that's going to allow you to skip the dreams in Uru Mais. So I'm here in Uru Mais. I've already done the initial kind of couple of cutscenes, and I'm ready to go ahead and get started. So a few things I want to note, just kind of point out before I get started, is that number one, we need to make sure we don't have an incense on, so go ahead and run around and wear that incense off if you've already used one. Second thing to note is we're only going to be running. Don't walk, just always run. So switch that in the menu if you haven't already done so. And then number three, we're only going to be moving straight up, straight down, straight left, or straight right. So don't do any diagonal movements or anything like that because it'll mess up the glitch and the setup won't work correctly. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Vaughn's. We're going to move 1 unit. Oop, that was actually 2 units, so... Nope, that was 2 units. There we go. That's 1 unit of distance. I like to look at the glyphs on the ground as kind of a visual cue. That seems to help me out. I'll go ahead and use an incense here. I'm going to walk straight to the left, straight up, and I'll kind of glide off this corner. To the right, and then up, to the left, up, back to the right, and then up. And I'm going to move 49 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 49. And incense has lost its effectiveness right on the right pixel. And I've kind of clipped past the trigger that would take me to a dream sequence, and I can walk through in this area that I'm not supposed to be able to. And I just kind of hit this this loading zone right here at the top of that little platform, and that triggers somehow, for reasons we don't fully understand, the cutscene that plays after Vaughn's dream sequence has ended. It's a little finicky. All of these are unit precise, so not quite pixel precise, but they do require us to move an exact number of units, so the setup is important. Let me just pull up my notes just to make sure I don't say anything misleading here. Okay, so that's Vaughn's, and Vaughn's is the trickiest of the three, because it's the most difficult visual cue. So we're going to go to Noah's now. So Noah starts off, she does not move at all. She immediately was going to use the incense as soon as she enters. Just like before, I'm going to move only left, right, up, and down, and always hitting the far wall. So straight right, up, left, up, and to the right, up, and then just walk straight up through the memory. And then for Noah's, it's 51 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, 30, 40, 51. Now straight up. And that skips the loading zone, and just as before, we'll hit the middle of that membranous triangle thing, and it'll cause us to skip to the end of Noah's dream sequence. So that's Noah's. So she has a pretty easy movement. There it is again, the light. I've also heard some reports, based on Trance's findings, that there may be some slight differences between consoles, between emulator and PS2 or disc or whatever. So do play around with it, because it might be a couple pixels, it might be a couple units that you need to adjust. So just play around with it, find out what works for you if the exact pixels that I'm using don't work for me. What I found works for my console, my disc, but there may be some imprecision with emulation, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so Gala is going to move 2 units down at the start before he uses Incense. So that's 1 unit. You can see that the kind of jewel thing that's kind of obstructing Vaughn is covering his knees, up to his knees. So that's 1 unit. I want to move 1 more unit, which is like this. That is 2 units. You can see that the crystal thing at the top covers all but the very top of his head. So at this point, go ahead and use our Incense. And we're going to do the same pathing. We're walking straight down, to the left, up, to the left again, up, always making sure to always run, only move in cardinal directions, and to always hit the far wall. 2 units at the start, then we do our normal pathing, and then we move up, like so. Sorry, not Vaughn. Gala is 18 passes, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. And now straight up. And there we go. We have skipped Gala's cutscene. So these scenes do take some time. It does take some time to set up. But for speedrunning purposes, Vaughn's skip, it's the most difficult, and if you're gonna not do one, that's the one I would choose not to do. Vaughn's skip saves about 2 minutes or so. Noah's sequence saves about... Vaughn's sequence saves about 2 minutes. Noah's saves about 2:40, and Gala saves about 3 minutes. So in a speedrun, getting all 3 of the glitches saves right about 8 minutes in total. So it takes some time to set up, but then you save a bunch of time because skip each of those cutscenes is pretty long. Gala's is the longest, then Noah's, and Vaughn's is actually pretty short. So that's all 3 of the skips done. At this point, you just talk to Teague, tell him that you understand everything, go to the next cutscene, and you'll get the fire drop. It is then possible to skip the scene after where Juggernaut destroys Uru Mais, but that does cause some issues with the game. It's fine to skip that cutscene, but then you have some issues. You get some extra. You get the Kara cutscene when you come back to Uru Mais to do Noeru Valley, and you also miss out on the Magic Grail. So I'm not convinced that skip is necessarily worth going for. It may be, it may not be. We'd have to see. But those are the 3 dream sequences. It's about 8 minutes in total of time save for a speedrun. Or if you're just playing casually and you've played the game plenty of times and you want to just try a speedrunning trick, you want to try a glitch on your own, that's the setups that I use as before. I suggest that you try on your own. Make sure that the correct number of units works for you, because it might be, especially if you're on an emulator, it might be a unit or 2 different, and you might have to adjust your setup just a little bit accordingly. So that's it. That's the Uru Mais skip tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you will try it out on your own sometime if you're feeling so inclined. But that's it for this tutorial video. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's Dr. Sky's gonna sign out. Tomorrow, I have to go through the Twitch embargo, but tomorrow, as I am uploading this, do expect to see my new any percent world record for this game in under 7.5 hours. Alright, see you guys next time.